Well, welcome again, everybody. It's great to have a full house today. We've got Councilmember Willits online. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. We start it with an invocation, which we observe by a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, everybody. Clerk, will you call the roll?
Corliss,
Here.
Halliburton,
Here.
Morales,
Here.
Nash,
Here.
Stead,
Here.
Willits.
Here.
All present.
And next up, we have minutes for approval from July 16th.
Madam Mayor, I move approval of the minutes of the work session and regular meeting of July 16th, 2024.
Second. We have a motion, a second. Clerk?
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willits,
Yes.
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Madam Mayor, under special business, I'm hoping that we could take up item number 2 on special business first, and then item number 22, pulling that off consent. So I'd make a motion that we take up item number 2 on special business and we pull item number 22 from the consent agenda to be considered now out of respect for Mayor Walsh's time.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Clerk, thanks. Clerk, will you call the roll?
Nash,
Yes.
Stead.
Yes.
Willits,
Yes.
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Well, thanks for that. So we will move into special business. We've got a lot of special business tonight. First, we have Mayor Walsh. Thanks for joining us. I know it's late there. We've got a sister city resolution tonight that is brought to us because of CHIPS. We have a full house here at City Hall for a Carpenters Day proclamation. Carpenters were integral in our work around CHIPS. And then we have the finance director as our third item of special business tonight. Eric Bilmore is here. But we'll take up this item, the Sister City resolution first. And I want to say we have not in a long time named a sister city. And when I first approached Mayor Walsh about it, he had neither. But we had a conversation, and through the CHIPS investments, as we said earlier today, 2 years ago, President Biden signed into law the CHIPS and Science Act, and that created amazing opportunity throughout this country, but most importantly to me, right here at home in Boise. And while I won't speak for Mayor Walsh, I know that he feels the same in Syracuse, and Micron's decision to reinvest in our city and to invest in Syracuse has brought us together in ways we wouldn't have imagined. So it's an honor to welcome the mayor here. And you know, as we look at this resolution, it's because we wanted to come up with a formal way to acknowledge the partnerships that our cities now have, that we are committing to advocate together for our communities to make sure that the power and promise, as I often say, of CHIPS, whether it be in the PLAs that exist and the good jobs that come from building it, the long-term jobs that come from maintaining these fabs, and of course, the investments in housing, childcare, transportation, our trades and training, our community colleges, and ultimately our universities. We're going to be right alongside each other advocating for additional investments in all of those areas. We're going to work together to make sure that our residents reap the benefits of the commitments that the companies have made in accepting CHIPS investments, and do all that we can in the years to come together to learn from each other to make sure that we're doing the best we can to pass policies, promote education, and most importantly, support the good men and women of our cities as they seek to build strong and vibrant lives right here and in Syracuse and Syracuse. And so it's for that reason that we developed and agreed to a sister city relationship, and I'm bringing it tonight to council to approve. But before that, I would offer the opportunity and also say thank you, Ben, Mayor Walsh, for joining tonight. I want to offer the floor to Mayor Walsh to say a couple things.
Great. Thank you, Mayor McLean. It's wonderful to join you all. I want to thank you for your partnership and your friendship. I want to thank the council. I look forward to getting to know many of you throughout this as we build this relationship. I also want to give a shout out to our brothers and sisters in the Carpenters Union there in the audience, because that's ultimately, what this is all about. It's about bringing opportunity to our communities. I had the opportunity to visit Boise back in May of last year, and I was blown away. You have a beautiful city, and I don't need to tell you all that, but I was really struck by, of course, the natural beauty. But the entire city was just really impressive. The number of cranes in the sky was very impressive, and I truly enjoyed my visit. I hope you all take the opportunity to come visit us here in Syracuse. We've hosted Mayor McLean, and again, I hope to see many of you. Just to give a little bit of background and context for what we're doing here in Syracuse and how much our futures are intertwined. I was elected back in 2018, and one of the first things that I did was establish a vision for the city, for Syracuse to be a growing city that embraces diversity and creates opportunity for all. And upon establishing that vision, one of the first initiatives we launched to advance that vision was our Syracuse Surge initiative. Surge is our strategy for inclusive growth in the new economy. The idea that we need to make sure that our residents, from our school children to our adults, have the skills necessary to be competitive in the new economy. And that's why we've invested in things like a new regional STEAM high school, expanding our tech garden, our new state-supported on-ramp program for workforce development. And what I was struck by when I visited Boise and met with the mayor and many partners, we had a workforce development roundtable at Boise State, was how aligned our communities are, not just in our economic development strategy, but in our desire to make sure that truly everyone benefits from these opportunities, particularly those communities that have historically been left behind. So it truly is a perfect match from my perspective, and we're really excited to formally establish a sister city relationship, which in many ways we've already begun. And ultimately, as the mayor said, to work on things like joint advocacy. Mayor McLean and I have already been doing that in Congress with the White House, and we're going to continue to do that and welcome others to do it with us. Develop economic development opportunities. There's going to be plenty of opportunities both with Micron and beyond for both of our communities. So rather than try to compete, we're going to collaborate, and we are going to all grow together. And again, I mentioned some of the opportunities that we see in workforce development and education. Sustainable development. One of the signature investments by New York State is our Green Chips Act, to make sure as we are investing in these energy intensive industries to do it, and again, in a sustainable way. So we really couldn't be more aligned. I couldn't be more excited to partner with all of you. I couldn't be more grateful for the investment of the federal government through the CHIPS and Science Act, particularly through the leadership of President Biden, Vice President Harris, our Senate Majority Leader, and New York Senator, Senior Senator Chuck Schumer. The stars truly are aligned for both of our communities to achieve unprecedented opportunity. So again, thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to joining you, Mayor, tomorrow to formally sign the proclamation, and Council. Again, I look forward to working with all of you, and I appreciate your consideration. Thanks again.
Thanks, Mayor Walsh. And actually, I'm joining you tomorrow. I really appreciate the invitation to join you tomorrow for a virtual signing, and appreciate that you joined us this evening for our council meeting. So good to see you. Have a great evening. Look forward to all that is to come, and really appreciate your time.
Thanks so much. Take care, all.
Take care. All right. So I'm going to put this before council for a motion.
Madam Mayor, I'd move that we approve RES 382-24.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I feel grateful, and I think we're fortunate that we have a mayor who seeks and a council who supports collaboration, pooling resources, sharing knowledge, and also learning from others. So I appreciate this opportunity, and I think we're in this together, and there's a lot that we can learn from each other.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I just say, I just want to echo this. I think this is a great privilege to be able to consider this evening. It's not every day that you get to choose family, and this is a sister city, and we'll be linked for a long time for that. And so, I'm looking forward to be able to learn quite a bit from what they're doing. It's fun to see some of the stuff they're doing in housing and other smart city development and stuff like that, with their common council members. And I would just say, I mean, this, for a lot of the reasons that you and Mayor Walsh mentioned, this makes a lot of sense. But both of our universities are also blue and orange. So
That's what I forgot to say while Mayor Walsh was with us, that Councilmember Morales wore his Boise State orange SU colors today.
I'm hopeful this sister city relationship turns into like a home and home basketball agreement. So
All right. And with that, clerk, I'll ask that you call the roll.
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willis,
Yes.
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales,
yes.
all in favor, motion carries.
Thank you all very, very much. Really appreciate it. All right. Now we move to the carpenters. That's next in line. So we're going to move into the next item of special business. The reason all of you are here today, and really it's awesome to have all of you with us today. Really, really appreciate it that you're taking the time you came to join us. I said it in my last remarks, but I'll say it again. I want to thank you for all that the carpenters did to support our efforts to ensure there was a CHIPS investment made in this community, and to make sure that the CHIPS application for that investment was as competitive as possible, which meant really looked after workers. And the guidance that the carpenters and others, but the carpenters really provided me and my team in the work that we did to advocate for Boise and the investments that would be made here is beyond compare. And I'm deeply grateful. And each and every one of you has not only a part in helping build our city, region, and state, but through your affiliation with the carpenters has had a part in what we just celebrated. And that is the burgeoning and growing relationship between our two cities that is centered around CHIPS investment and the work that we can do together to create opportunity. So I thank you for that. And this is Carpenter's Day. So I have a proclamation that I'd love to read, and I'll read it. I'm going to look to see if council has any comments. And then after that, I would love, we move the desk down. So would love to have a picture with everybody if you're game for it. And so we'll go at ease, as Council President Nash would say, coming from the legislature. But really, that just means we'll come down here, take a picture, and then we'll get back to work. But so I'll read it, and then we'll go from there. Whereas Western States Regional Council of Carpenters represents more than 90,000 members in Southern California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, New Mexico, Colorado, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Oregon, and Alaska. That is a lot of states, and also the most beautiful part of our country, I will say. And whereas the Western States Regional Council of Carpenters provides comprehensive, valuable benefits to our more than 90,000 members, their spouses, domestic partners, and their dependents at little or no cost to them. And whereas the Carpenters Union gives its members a strong voice in negotiations for better working conditions, higher wages, and benefits. And whereas the Carpenters Union is committed to elevating worker standards for the construction industry in Boise. And whereas the Carpenters Union is dedicated to protecting workers' rights, improving job site safety, and bringing professional skills training to Boiseans, I, Laura McLean, the mayor of Boise, proclaimed July 30th. So we were at recess, so it's a little late. July 30th, 2024. I don't know why we didn't just say today. Because it's Carpenters Union Day, excuse me. July 30th, 2024, as Carpenters Union Day in the city of Boise. Thank you all for your service and for being here, and for the honor and privilege of proclaiming Carpenters Union Day on behalf of the city. Thank you.
Madam Mayor. I just want to thank you guys for coming out today and sharing this special day with us. Your contributions to the city, the workforce, and providing good jobs for people at livable wages. Like, you are what makes us great. We're proud of the relationship that we have with you. We want to do things to improve your quality of life and the opportunities that you have to build and make Boise better. So genuinely, thank you for coming. We love it when you show up. We love seeing those orange vests in the hallways. Thank you so much.
Madam Mayor, I've been on council for 5 years now. I think you all have come almost all 5 years, and it's grown. Biggest group we've ever had in this room, from the Carpenters Union. I was talking with one of your folks earlier. He said that you guys had grown over 150 folks, just in 1 year, which is pretty phenomenal. And then phenomenal to think about how your growth is inspiring better treatment for workers across the board. I grew up working in the trades, and still today, every once in a while, I'll ride my bike around, drive around, and I can see houses that I helped build. And it feels cool to think about like who's using that house now, the future that that's helping them create. You all right now are part of some of the greatest construction that's going to happen in generations for Boise and the impact that it's going to have. And I just think it's so cool that you're not only doing that, but you're valued for doing it as well. The work that you're doing is viewed as important, as good work, as important work, and valued work. So I want to thank you for being part of this partnership with the city and the CHIPS Act. You're creating something beautiful for Boise. And I think that you're creating something bigger than that that's going to last going forward. So thank you again for being here. I'm excited that your group grew even more than last year. Next year, we might have to bring in some more chairs. So we'll see. We might have to bring in a lot more chairs, but keep up all the good work.
Madam Mayor, I just want to express my thanks to all of you. The work that you do is literally building the foundations of our communities. And I really appreciate that work. My father was a carpenter. It's hard work, but it really builds what we have in our community. And you can see that, and just want to say thank you. And thank you for coming down today.
All righty. Well, thank you. And now I'm going to propose that we go at ease. We'll come on down, take a giant group picture. Sound good? Thanks, everybody.
That's what I'm talking about. It's like, I want to know the bars where you had together. What are they doing? They're in the tap room.
Just so I don't totally forget. They said that if ever was something.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just gonna wait for it to look quieter. Great, thanks. All right. So now we will go to the third item of special business, which is the appointment of Eric Bilmoria as Director of Finance, effective August 1st, 2024. This is another example of taking action a little late because we were on recess. So we are doing this today. I would put this nomination to council.
Madam Mayor, I'd ask unanimous consent for the appointment of Eric Billamoria as the Director of the Department of Finance, effective August 1st, 2024.
Without objection? Well, there you go, Eric. Congratulations. I want to thank you for your service. I am so pleased that Eric accepted the offer to serve in this role. All of you have come to know Eric. The public has come to know Eric in the many years that he's worked with us to create a budget that's reflective of our values, that makes it possible for us to do all the things that we know we must do to support our residents and serve our city with the limited resources we have. Have appreciated your service and leadership in that role, and am so grateful that you decided to respond to the challenge, the opening that existed, and put your name in for this position, that you've accepted it. Really look forward to working with you in this new role. So thank you very much.
Madam Mayor, would you indulge some comments?
Yes, and then after council makes comments, for those of you that want to, I'll invite Eric up as well.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you're taking this new role on, Eric. We've one of the great things about seeing folks that work at the city that just absolutely love their job, and Eric is one of those. Every time I send him some weird question about some capital fund that no one's asked about in 10 years, he's so giddy, and I thought no one would ask is generally the response I get. And I relied on the presentations that you did prior to being here at the city when I was in the legislature, and you're a great resource not only for this city but for this state. And we're glad that we're keeping you around, and we're glad that to see you spread your wings and take on some new roles. And the only thing I'm sad about is that we're going to have to hire someone to replace you in your old job. I wish you could do both of them. But thank you so much for accepting this position. You have the full confidence and support of council.
Madam Mayor, well, yes, I want to say thank you and I want to say congratulations at the same time. I think this is a big deal for you and a big deal for the city. One of the things that I really appreciate you beyond being brilliant, and I really do think that you're brilliant, is that you help everyone else around you become more brilliant, understand things better. Since I've been on council, I've seen you take just about every single document that's come in front of us and try to figure out a way to make it more accessible, not only to us so that we can understand it, but also to the public as well. And in that way, you've shared your knowledge, you've shared that skill, you've made what we do at the city more transparent, more easy for the community members to understand, and more easy for them to navigate in creating change. And so I think it's an incredible person who's smart enough to do your job, but even more incredible when you can make that accessible to everybody else and to share that knowledge. And you do such a great job at doing it. That's why you get a really good, easy vote from all of us today. And I think a shared excitement from the council and the mayor's office and probably all of our staff members as well who've worked with you and moving into this position. So again, thank you and congratulations.
Madam Mayor. Again, like everyone else, want to congratulate you, Eric, and thank you for taking on this new role. You're one of the first people I met coming into the city and helped to educate me and educate other council members on the budget, the process, and putting it forth in such a manner that it was easily understandable. And presentation upon presentation, you provide those numbers, provide the updates, and I appreciate the work you do and how it's presented, and so excited to see you in this new role. Thank you.
Madam Mayor. I just want to add, Eric, you are so professional and prompt in your responses. We're so lucky to keep you at the city. Thank you so much for your service. Congratulations.
Madam Mayor. Eric, thank you so much. Again, just reiterate, and as a new council member, you will always have been the one that helped guide me through the budget for the first time. Your patience and just so much clarity that you brought. Truly are a professional and know the ins and outs, and just appreciate all of the help and support that you provided, and excited for all that you will do in this new role. Thanks.
All right. Eric, come on up. And as he's coming up, I want to acknowledge the finance team that came tonight too to celebrate. So not only should I say thanks to Eric for all you do, but each and every one of you that is part of this team, you represent many others. The support you'll provide Eric in this new role and the support you provided us over the years is deeply appreciated. So thanks for being here too.
Thank you very much. Madam Mayor, members of the council, I'm honored to serve the community with you and all the other amazingly talented public servants here at the city. Since joining the finance department in 2015, we've confronted some significant funding challenges together. We've confronted these issues through careful planning, financial discipline, commitment to transparency, creativity, and by building consensus and approach across the organization. We'll surely employ these same values as we face additional challenges in the future. Over the past 9 years, I've had a front row seat, watching dedicated members of the accounting, budget, grants, purchasing, and treasury teams work together to safeguard taxpayer resources and aiding in the success of the more public-facing departments here at the city. I'm very fortunate to be leading such a talented team. I look forward to expanding my responsibilities here at the city by leading the finance department. And I thank you very much for the trust you are placing in me tonight and for this incredible opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I will say the same to all of you. As I said to the others, feel free to leave. You're welcome to stay. But if you've got better things to do, we totally understand. Go out and celebrate. Thank you. All right. We will move now to the consent agenda. There's a couple things I want to highlight on the agenda before passing it over, because some of these things we've talked about in budget discussions and at other times. First off, the Willow Lane lighting is in here. That's a commitment we made to complete and to provide additional light and safety in an area of the Greenbelt. And it was a commitment that I made, that we made as we approved a shelter a couple years ago, that it would be prepared and online before the shelter opened. And so that's in here so we can get that going. We are always looking for ways to incentivize affordable housing. And so there's a building fee exemption in here. I see the pathway team is here because maybe because of the mobility corrals that we're discussing. In fact, earlier today, an intern in the micromobility team in the PDS team talked about corrals and the use of them to improve parking. And then Spalding Ranch will have a global garden space. This is part of the vision that the neighborhood presented in terms of having farming. It was what was historically a farm. Global Gardens is an exciting partnership with the city where we create spaces for refugees and other farmers to farm and build businesses. In fact, every Monday I bike over or drive over to St. Luke's to pick up my Global Gardens share from Sophia, a wonderful farmer right here in Boise who farms on city land. And then later you will see, within this, you'll also see a resolution related to childcare that we discussed at the work session, making sure that as school starts, that we can provide more high quality spots in childcares for students before and after school, and frankly, during the day as well for those that need it, and appreciate the discussion and questions we had earlier.
Madam Mayor? I'd move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second discussion.
Madam Mayor, I know you tried to mention all 47, but you missed a couple. And I just want to,
You found one I missed.
I'd just like to point out that, there's a couple consent agenda items tonight that we have really important research partners at our local state universities. And we have a couple universities represented doing conservation efforts and public works efforts. And it's so exciting to have these oftentimes young folks that are learning, being able to engage with our cities. So really applaud our staff that are working with those teams to be able to benefit from what they're learning and be able to improve our services.
Madam Mayor?
Yeah.
I also want to make a comment on one, and that's on the first resolution for the joint powers agreement. I'm so excited to see this on here because when our agencies come together, we really create a stronger, more effective and efficient response to the challenges within our community. So I'm glad to see this on here tonight.
All right, clerk.
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts,
Yes.
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you. Now we will move into the reading of ordinances. We've got a lot on first reading.
Madam Mayor, I move that all rules of the council interfering with the immediate consideration of ORD 23-24 be suspended, that the portions of Idaho Code 50-902 requiring an ordinance to be read on 3 different days, twice by title and once in full, be dispensed with, that the record show it has been read the 3rd time in full.
Second.
A motion and a second. A motion and a second for the first, second, and third reading of ordinances 23-24 and 24-24.
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts,
Yes.
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries. ORD 23-24, an ordinance of the city of Boise City, Ada County, Idaho, authorizing the execution, issuance, and delivery of its water renewal revenue bond, Series 2024, federally taxable, to provide funds necessary to finance and refinance improvements to the city's water renewal system, fixing the form of the bond to be issued, providing for the registration and authentication of the bond, pledging revenues for the payment of debt service on the bond, providing for other matters properly relating thereto, ordering publication, approving a summary of the ordinance, providing for waivers of the reading rules, and providing an effective date.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'd ask unanimous consent that all ordinances on the first reading count.
Wait, can we pass the first, second, and third reading?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I went out of order, but
Let's just finish that. Yeah, let's just finish that one up. I'll take a motion for,
Madam Mayor, I move that ORD 23-24 be approved.
Second.
I'll take a motion for 23-24 and 24-24. Is
I
that,
don't think we've read 24.
Oh, sorry, I thought we did them both. Okay, motion and second. Clerk?
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts,
yes,
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton.
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Was your original motion for just one of the two ones for second and third reading?
Yes.
All right.
Madam Mayor, I ask unanimous consent that all ordinances on first reading be read by number and title only and filed for the second reading calendar.
Without objection.
ORD 18-24, an ordinance entitled the Annual Appropriation Ordinance for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024, appropriating $1,446,953,286 deemed necessary to defray all expenses and liabilities of the city of Boise City, Idaho for said fiscal year, specifying the objects and purposes for which said appropriation is made, repealing all ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict with this ordinance, authorizing a levy of a sufficient tax upon the taxable property and providing an effective date. ORD 19-24, an ordinance amending Title IX, Chapter 2 of Boise City Code. This amendment updates the definition of a dwelling unit or accessory dwelling unit, the development impact fees per service unit and related schedule of development impact fees, and provides an effective date of October 1, 2024. ORD 20-24, an ordinance CAR 23-00024 for property located at 11800 West Overland Road, amending zoning classifications of the city of Boise City to change the classification of real property, particularly described in section 1 of this ordinance and adjacent rights of way from R-1B residential suburban to R-1C residential traditional, setting forth a reasoned statement in support of such zone change and providing an effective date. ORD 21-24, an ordinance CAR 24-00002 for property located at the southwest corner of the intersection of South Warehouse Way and East Freight Street, annexing 76.31 acres of certain lands and territory situated in Ada County, Idaho, adjacent and contiguous to the corporate limits of the city of Boise City, establishing and determining the land use classification of said 76.31 acres as I-2/AI-O, industrial heavy with airport influence overlay, setting forth a reasoned statement in support of such annexation and zone change, directing the city engineer to lodge and file a legal description and map for said annexed lands and territory, providing that copies of this ordinance shall be filed with the Ada County Auditor, the Ada County Treasurer, the Ada County Assessor, the Ada County Recorder, and Idaho State Tax Commission, providing that a copy of said legal description and map of said annexed lands and territory be recorded with the Ada County Recorder and filed with the Ada County Assessor and Idaho State Tax Commission as required by law and providing an effective date. ORD 22-24, an ordinance CAR 22-00034 for property located at 672 to 678 Ash Street and 1110 to 1136 River Street, amending zoning classifications of the city of Boise City to change the classification of real property, particularly described in section 1 of this ordinance and adjacent rights of way from MX5 to MX5/DA, setting forth a reasoned statement in support of such zone change and providing an effective date.
Madam Mayor. I'd like to take up ORD 24-24. I'd move that all rules of the council interfering with the immediate consideration of ORD 24-24 be suspended, that the portions of Idaho Code 50-902 requiring an ordinance to be read on 3 different days, twice by title and once in full, be dispensed with, that the record show it has been read it's the third time in full.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have a motion and a second. Clerk?
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts,
yes,
Corliss,
yes,
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries. ORD 24-24, an ordinance amending Boise City Code Title III, Chapter 6, entitled Child Care Facilities, to increase the child to adult worker ratio for children 6 to 12 years old, providing for a waiver of the reading rules and providing an effective date.
Madam Mayor, I'd move approval of ORD 24-24.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Discussion? Clerk?
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willetts,
yes,
Corliss,
yes,
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Alrighty, thank you. We will now move into the one item of new business. Excuse me. Tonight, the Brown Terrace subdivision. Welcome, David. We've got David to present for the city, Tammy Crawford for the applicant. Do we have anybody, we don't expect the neighborhood association, but I just want to see if the neighborhood association is online. No? Is anybody here to testify on this item? Anybody online? All right, we'll hear from David. I'll see if you're in agreement and we'll go from there. Great.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First, I would note that this application is based on the legacy code and not the modern zoning code. The site is 1.2 acres in size, located at 4502 West Overland Road in an LOD and R2 zone. The area is primarily comprised of detached single-family homes and apartments adjacent to the north and northwest. Commercial uses comprised of retail, office, and a large childcare facility are adjacent to the east, west, and south along Overland Road. The subject property is also adjacent to a community activity center located at the intersection of Overland and Orchard. On June 3rd, 2024, the conditional use permit and category 3 hillside application associated with the preliminary plat subdivision for a mixed-use plan development comprised of 6 detached single-family homes along Philippi and a commercial lawn along Overland Road was approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission. In addition, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the preliminary plat comprised of 7 buildable and 2 common lots. The approval of the conditional use and the hillside application were not appealed, and only the preliminary plat is before council tonight. This slide here shows that the north half of the site is located in a hillside zone with steep topography sloping to the north. The site plan shows the proposed grading and drainage for the site associated with the construction of the common drive and the sidewalk. And it's really just to emphasize that there is a steep hillside zone here on the north side. This slide shows the proposed site design for the preliminary plat, and it also shows the parcel layout for the subdivision and the proposed conceptual building footprints on site. And as you can see, the residential parcels are irregular shaped and range in size from about 3,400 to 5,100 square feet in size. Please note this is the buildable area of the lot and does not include the poles that connect the parcels back to the street. The LO and RO zones requires 5,000 square feet and 50-foot wide lots. And as such, the associated plan unit development approved the reduced lot sizes, widths, and interior setbacks. The applicant will improve the adjacent street frontages along Overland Road with a 5-foot attached sidewalk, 8-foot landscape buffer with a 7-foot attached sidewalk along Philippi. And as required by ACHD, the Overland Road sidewalk will connect back into the existing sidewalks adjacent to the site and will comply with ADA and PROAG standards. A permanent right-of-way easement will be provided for this detached sidewalk. The landscape buffer along Overland Road will contain Class 2 trees planted every 40 feet. The proposed 7-foot attached sidewalk is acceptable along Philippi due to the topography and the existence of the Marathon pipeline, which runs adjacent to the site. Any landscaping within the Marathon pipeline easement will be limited and street trees are prohibited there. Therefore, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended that the council approve the preliminary plat. Thank you.
Any questions for staff? From the applicant, is there more you'd like to add? You're in agreement with the terms and conditions of the staff report and the recommendation of approval? All right, I'll have the record reflect that. And with that, we'll go ahead and confirm nobody's here to testify on this. And close the public hearing.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I move that subdivision 23-0041, a preliminary plat for 7 buildable and 2 common lots on 1.21 acres at 5402 West Overland Road in an L-OD limited office with design review and R2 medium density residential zone be approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second discussion.
Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
Just a couple comments. I'm familiar with this property. I'm sure that this was a bear of a property to navigate with our staff. And so I want to say thank you for hanging in there. I know there were some obstacles with it, and I appreciate that. I also want to say that I appreciate with the detached sidewalk on Overland. If you've ever walked on Overland before, it's not a fun street to walk next to. This is going to make a big difference. And then going the extra mile with those PROAG standards, which is like ADA for transportation related stuff, is great because that's what we're going to be required to do in the future. It's great to do it right now. And so again, I want to thank you about being proactive in that process. It's going to be some beautiful homes in a really cool spot. And I'm excited to see how the innovative designs turn out. Thanks for sticking with it.
All right, clerk, we call the roll?
Nash,
Yes.
Stead,
Yes.
Willett,
Yes.
Corliss,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
all in favor, motion carries.
And with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Madam Mayor, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? We are adjourned. Have a good night, everybody. See you all soon.